Welcome back, guys. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, and I'm happy to be here, guys. And Happy New Year to all of you guys. I hope you had a great, nice, happy, and safe New Year, as well as a Merry Christmas for you guys, who do celebrate Christmas. I know there's some that do not. So happy holidays to everyone who did celebrate, and I hope you guys are off to a good start and a happy new year. Well, anyway, guys, let's go ahead and get right into it, guys. This is the last Terrible Towel Tuesday for the regular season of 2016. Of course, now since we're in the playoffs, I will be doing a Terrible Towel Tuesday edition, after each game. Not sure how far we're going to go, guys. We'll see. Maybe we'll be doing a Super Bowl edition. Who knows? But either way, guys, I will cover each week that, we're definitely going to be participating in the playoffs, as well as I will come back and I will also give a final recap on the season and, a look into next season and things of that nature. But let's get right into it, guys. And you know how I do. I'm all over the place, guys. You know how I take my notes while I'm watching the game. So I'm going to read it in that order. So some things may be before or after or what have you. But I think you guys are kind of used to that now. I've tried to do the 10-minute thing, guys. I don't think I can always hit that mark. So it is what it is. I appreciate you guys who watch it. If you guys have an issue with the length of this segment, please let me know, and we'll adjust that accordingly, whether it's too short or too long. And again, before I get started, guys, I want you guys to share some things with me as well in the comments. Let me know what type of things you may want me to do in the future. I would like to get this to be more of a incorporating you guys as well in the show some kind of way. So we'll get into that. I got some ideas coming down the pike, guys, for next season, but we'll see. We'll see if we can make this thing grow into a little more than what it is right now. But guys, let's go ahead and talk about the game. So we won. It was pretty much almost like a preseason game, if you will, on offense. With the exception of a couple guys. Eli Rogers being a guy that's more of in a starting type of role now. Of course, the offensive line, B.J. Finney actually playing center. No Marquise Pouncey, no Big Ben Roethlisberger, no Le'Veon Bell, no Antonio Brown. Of course, no Ladarius Green, still coming off of the concussion protocol. I'm guessing that maybe we decided to, sit him out a while. I don't know if the concussion wasn't, perking back up, as you would say, or if we just decided, well, there's no need to risk it going into the playoffs. We'll see. But a couple guys were not there. It was good to see D'Angelo Williams back in the fold. So let's go ahead and talk about the game a little bit, shall we? All right, guys. So the first thing I noticed that the defense actually looked good on the first series. We kicked off to those guys, and our defense was playing relatively well in that first series. We got them off the field. It was good to see that. Most of the defense did play. Of course, Stephon Tua didn't play in the game. But most of the defense that we have healthy right now, for the most part, did play. No James Harrison as well. But we're going to get into the defense a little more here in just a moment. They looked good on the first possession. Now, let's go to the other side of the ball, the offense. Oh, my Lord. The offense looked horrible. Horrible. And as I like to make up my own word, the offense looked horrible on that first drive. I mean, Landry Jones and that offense was looking like what we've been saying about Landry Jones since he's been in Pittsburgh. And I'm going to speak on him in a minute as well, because I have an interesting take on Landry Jones. But that first drive, matter of fact, the first 3 or 4 drives, just terrible. Terrible. We gave up sacks on that drive. And what I did notice, guys, is it was most of our, full offensive line, but people don't realize how key it is to have all of your components clicking, particularly the centerpiece being a Marquise Pouncey. Now, I'm not trying to pick on B.J. Finney, but B.J. Finney was just having a lot of trouble in that game, particularly against Danny Shelton. He was having huge troubles, guys. And that's where most of the pressure was coming from. If you really dissect that game, most of the pressure was coming right up the middle. We weren't getting any push in the middle. And like I said, B.J. Finney just was getting his handed to him by Danny Shelton. Now, I like Finney. I like what Finney showed us at guard. I believe it was the Buffalo game. I think that was the game it was. But B.J. Finney, you guys know I praised him in one of these segments. Great player. But it just seems like, I don't know if it was because of the position, being center, or if it was just his one-on-one matchup. just wasn't getting it done, guys. And you were seeing the offensive line cave a little bit. They perked up later in the game, but you were just seeing it cave a little bit, man, in that first quarter. First half, you probably would say, and it was just a little bit crazy. Next thing I noticed, guys, Sean Davis, man, finally gets home on a safety blitz. He did get a blitz in there. He did get a sack. Finally, me again. I always like to shout out my man, my buddy Tony. He knows who he is. We talk about this all the time. Sean Davis is going to be pretty good on that safety blitz. He just needs to learn how to squeeze it a little bit. Squeeze it down a little bit. He seems like he comes out a little too wide. He needs to stay more like closer to the actual line and put himself between the line and the quarterback and make the quarterback, have to. I guess the best thing would be is to try to make him step up as opposed to stepping back. Because you notice in some of the games, man, guys have been able to sidestep him and keep it moving. So he just has to find that right angle where, he's more square, I guess, to the quarterback and, being able to defend him rolling out or stepping up. And he'll probably get home a lot more because he's getting in very clean. A lot of times when we blitz him, he gets in clean. It's just he's missed a lot of those. And again, like I said, man, he's a rookie. You also have to take in consideration he's facing a NFL quarterback. These guys get paid too. But I think he's definitely going to find his niche in that going forward. I like him blitzing off the edge. He's a big hitter, has some decent speed. We'll see where that takes us. All right, now the defense looked a bit shaky against RG3 early on in that game and continuing throughout the game. I mean, they was really doing some damage, man. I mean, had us on their heels. The biggest thing I have to talk about, the run defense. We can't have that. We can't have that type of run defense, guys, going into this playoff. Let's not forget what Miami did to us the first time. I know we're all feeling better about the team. The team is feeling better. Us fans are feeling better. But let's not forget Miami was able to give us that work in that first meeting. Now, I think our team is different now than they were then. But again, I have to talk about the negatives, guys. I didn't like what I saw out there, against Cleveland. I didn't like that. Crowell went for 152, if I'm not mistaken. We had the game put away, and then we give up that huge run late in the game. I mean, we can't have that. Ajayi ran for 200 plus yards against us. Now, for the most part, most of the guys are still there. I know we don't have Cam Hayward and things like that. We're going to be doing some rotations, I'm sure, with guys like LT Walton and Ricardo Matthews. And, I'm sure Tua to be back. But, guys, we can't have that, man. I didn't like what I saw. Missed tackles or broken tackles. We can't have that play in Miami. I don't care if it is at Heinz Field. All right, now I'll give you my thoughts on what I think will transpire in that game here at the end. But, again, looking at that game early versus RG3 as well as versus the run, I didn't like what I saw, man. RG3 was picking us apart with the little dink and dunk and, short passes and cross the middle. I didn't like that. RG3. Now, let me not, knock RG3. RG3 is still a quarterback. He's still athletic. He's still gifted. I don't know if he's going to be a great success the rest of his career. But we were making him look very comfortable out there. He had some pretty decent yardage. I don't remember the exact. I think he ended up with like 277, something like that. But the dude looked good out there against us. I don't like that. The defense scared me, guys. And, talking to my buddy Tony, I know one time we were saying, how come all of the guys are playing? Like Javon Hargrave went down, with concussion protocol. And I was saying, listen, this is why they need to play. Look at how they're playing. Our defense, we don't have the luxury of resting our defense and being like, oh, let's see, what they do next week. No. They need to play because let's not forget, we're not the best defense out there anymore. We are a defense right now that has the potential to be a good defense. I can't even say potential to be great. I'm seeing that they have the potential to be a solid defense, but we haven't quite got there yet. We're not consistent. Very inconsistent on defense, versus the pass and versus the rush. We have some games where we've done well in one area, gave up a little more in the other area and vice versa. But I'm not seeing it on a consistent basis. Did not like what I saw in that Cleveland game. And I know guys, their mental state was probably like, this game doesn't mean anything and all that. Who knows? You have to take that in consideration, but I just did not like what I saw. I'm sure they'll be more pumped up come next week, but that's, regardless, you have to take in consideration the weakest part of what I saw against Cleveland was the run defense, which was the weakest part against the Miami Dolphins early on in the season. Just keep an eye on that. All right, guys. Now, Landry Jones again. Landry started off, I felt the same way I've always felt about him. Started to come on a little bit late. And let me say this about Landry Jones. This is my assessment of Landry Jones. I think Landry Jones has the potential and has had the potential to be a decent quarterback in the NFL. Maybe not great. Maybe not good. Decent. Pedestrian, as they say. Because this is the thing I think that Landry Jones lacks. His confidence. When I watch him play, it just doesn't look like he's confident at times. But when he does show confidence, he does some decent things. He can throw the ball. He will push the ball down the field. He has an arm. He will take a shot. Some of his negatives, he doesn't really go through his progressions all that great all the time. Sometimes he does. Sometimes he eyes down his target. Sometimes he'll throw some wild passes. We saw him in the game. A couple of those interceptions. Let's not forget. The high passes like the one he threw to that kid that fumbled thanks to Haywood Bay. But that ball was so high, I'm like, where are you throwing it? Sometimes his accuracy is not there, but I think it's more or less that he's forcing it to one guy. But when he's confident and when he sits there and reads his progressions, steps up in the pocket, he can throw the ball. And we saw that, guys, on the last drive in overtime that the Steelers had to win the game. And it was a must-score situation, and he came through. He looked poised and confident in that scenario. On that drive, I couldn't say anything bad about him. He looked like somebody you'd be like, okay, if we got to go with this guy as a backup, he might help us here and there. But he doesn't do that on a consistent basis. That's my problem. His confidence just seems to wane at times. It doesn't seem like he's always solid, with his confidence or his decision making. But when he sticks to the script, goes out there with a little confidence, he can perform. He didn't have a pretty, that bad of a game if you take out the first half. In the second half, he got himself going. He made a couple passes. Receivers were getting open. Looked fairly decent. Now, here's the question. Do we re-sign him? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised, though, because I think Steelers may need two quarterbacks. We don't know what they're going to do with Mettenberger. But I don't know what's going to happen with Bruce Gradkowski either. He's been hurt for 2 consecutive seasons. Landry Jones' contract is up, which most of us would probably say maybe don't re-sign him. But you never know. Landry Jones may be signed again for low money as a third option. I think we definitely have to go after a second option. Because like I say, I think we've given Landry Jones enough time to see what he can do. He hasn't performed on a consistent basis, in my opinion. I think now we start that process over again like we did when we drafted him. But we'll see. I'll leave that conversation more after the season is over, when I do my my recap for the season and look into the future. We'll get more into that. But he's very inconsistent. Showed himself very well to win that game in that last drive. I couldn't say much about him. Couldn't dispute what he did. I had to look at him in that moment and say, okay, if we could get that kind of production from this guy, might be a decent backup. I don't think he's anybody's NFL starter, so his career could be on the rocks. But we'll get into that later on, guys. But yeah, let's keep it moving. What I noticed early on in the offense as well is Fitzgerald Toussaint was not picking up the blitzes the right way. The guy Kirksey had 2 blitzes, 2 sacks. The exact same blitz, and he gets 2 sacks. This dude Kirksey, I think I'm saying his name right. He was all over the field, man. But right up the middle again, that pressure coming up the middle, it was killing us. And a lot of times I noticed that Toussaint wasn't picking it up. Now, when D'Angelo Williams was in the game, we were getting better blitz pickup. You could definitely see, the skill gap right there was improved greatly when Williams was in the game. And speaking of Williams, man, I mean, this guy, he didn't have a monster game, but he had a solid game. Making guys miss, getting the tough yards, like saving us from getting safeties and things of that nature twice consecutively. He keeps his feet moving, has the smarts enough to know to get out of the end zone, stretch the ball, veteran stuff. I think I would like to have D'Angelo Williams come back as well if he wants to come back. I think he understands salary-wise. I think he's good with money over his career. But I think much like how we signed him, I think he could be signed for very cheap. We get him back, maybe another year or two or however long he wants to play. I would like to have him back in the fold. But again, we'll talk about that later. But you guys know I'm itchy to talk about future things. All right. So here's a couple other guys who showed up, in my opinion. DeMarcus Ayers. DeMarcus Ayers may be proven to be a secret weapon for the Steelers. And the reason why I say that, man, is we already got Eli Rogers who showed up in the game as well. I think Eli is going to be a great asset to our offense, considering the fact that this is really like his rookie season. He got hurt last year in his rookie season, got injured a little bit in this year, and he's just getting his feet back wet, and he's making plays. He's making big plays for us. I actually like him in the punt return game as well. Maybe take that duty away from Antonio Brown. We don't want Antonio Brown to get injured. Eli Rogers is going to be something special, man, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen because I could almost anticipate Marcus Wheaton probably won't be back with us. That's Eli Rogers' job right there. Now, DeMarcus Ayers, man, gets his first career touchdown. He's showing some signs as well already. In his second game of the season, in both games, he has made a couple plays that has helped out, has made a difference in the game. He could be another secret weapon. Another quick guy that you could run some trick things with. Another, slot guy that can work underneath. It looks like he's running good routes. Him and Eli Rogers seem to be running fairly decent routes now. It's going to be very interesting. We got a lot of weapons on offense, man, when you think about it. But these two guys, I have high hopes for them. I think they're going to be special for us. Cobi Hamilton as well, which again is going to lead me to some future conversation. Where's he going to end up come next season? But Cobi Hamilton stepped up, obviously caught the winning touchdown. Here's another guy who has made significant plays for the Steelers this year. And then getting Darius Haywood-Bay back. You see the experience from Haywood-Bay, on the one-on-one situations, locating the ball, tracking it, going up, taking it from the defender. Huge catch at that particular situation to get us back where we needed to be to take the lead, as well as his awareness on the turnover. He saved that touchdown. He tracks this guy all the way down to the goal line, hits him, knocks the ball out. Landry Jones recovers it, wipes those points off the board. Excuse me. Because without that, guys, we may very well have lost that game. So Haywood-Bay is another guy that you definitely want to keep in your stable. Special teams guy. I mean, he's one of our best contributors on special teams. So I'm telling you, man, we got a lot of decisions to make coming soon with as far as the receivers. What else do I have here, guys? Nice pick by Ryan Shazier. I mean, again, Ryan Shazier has proven to be the guy I thought he would be. I still need him to tackle a little bit better. Because sometimes he's getting there. It's almost like I said about Sean Davis when he blitzed. Sometimes Shazier gets to the play so fast, but he's so fast, he seems to just not always make the tackle when it needs to be made. He has to show up his tackling. Great asset to our defense, and I think this guy is going to be phenomenal. But he has to tackle better. He can make so many more tackles for loss if he just tackles a little bit better. All right, but like I said, man, beautiful pick by him. Again, taking points off of the board. Turnovers were a huge part of this game for Cleveland. A lot of times down in the red zone, they turning it over. Like when we got the fumble, when they're about to run it right in. Huge momentum swings, man, and the defense came up big there. Just like Coach Tomlin said, we didn't always tackle the best, but we forced turnovers, which kept us in the game. We got to shore that up going into these playoffs. But I think that's all I got for you guys. Let me see. I got a couple. Oh, it was good to see Big Dan McCullers get a sack. Here's another guy I think could potentially help us in the run game. Clog up that middle. Big body. If we can get him to start producing at a more consistent rate, I think him and Javon Hargrave in the middle, could definitely help us protect, the green grass, so to speak, when it comes to the run game. And also, Jarvis Jones. Jarvis Jones played a very solid game, man. He was very disruptive. If I'm not mistaken, he got a sack. Very disruptive in the game. Sack. It was a lot of couple plays, a batted ball that he was all over the place. The defense put up 4 sacks total and got turnovers. So that's the type of effort we're going to need. However, we have to be better in 2 areas. Run defense and third and long situations. Now, it's the NFL, guys. I know teams are going to convert. We're not a shutdown defense right now. We're not going to keep guys from scoring. But in times when it matters, we have to get off the field when it's third and long, and we have to limit guys' run attack. I'm talking like 50 yards, 60 yards, something like that. Maybe even 70 is a good day for an NFL defense. You can't be giving up 100-yard rushes. You can't be giving up 10 and 15-yard runs and 20-yard runs at spurts. No, can't have that. Got to get better, guys. And as I look forward into this playoffs, we got Miami. It's a chance for us to redeem ourselves, man. They ran all over us the first time. We will need to stop the run first. After that, we have to protect in the secondary, keep everything relatively short. Don't get burnt deep. This guy, Matt Moore, he may be, I don't want to say nervous, but he hasn't really faced a team like Pittsburgh, hasn't faced a lot of teams, in his career. So we have to make him start guessing, make him hold the ball a little bit, get the pressure on him. But we just got to be, we have to be very, very precise in our duties. Like I said, you shut the run down and make this guy have to beat you. I like our chances. Like I said, it's an NFL team. I wouldn't be surprised if they get a couple points here and there. Of course, they may do that. But I think it has to start with stopping the run and making Matt Moore beat you. I think if we do that, it's at Heinz Field. It's going to be cold. So they're going to want to run first. So if we stop that, I think we take a huge element away from their attack. I think with the weapons that we have on offense, you would expect to see Bell, Brown, Ben. Ladarius Green will probably be back. With all of these weapons, Jesse James, D'Angelo Williams will be playing, I'm sure. We got a lot. Now we could throw in guys like DeMarcus Ayers and Eli Rogers, of course, is going to be on the field. And then maybe Sammy Coates. But we have a lot of potential weapons to attack these guys. Haywood Bay, the deep threat with that speed. Just looking at the 2 teams, I think by far, I have to say, looking at the offense, the Steelers are probably the better team. I think the Steelers will win this game. But they're going to have to be on top of their game, because the Miami Dolphins could very well come in there and do what they did earlier in the season and send the Pittsburgh Steelers, I can't even say send them home because we'll be home, send them right back in their locker room very early. And the playoffs could be over. But that's just my prediction, guys. I think the Steelers will win this game. Got to be very disciplined. Don't take anything for granted. Stop the run. And I think the Steelers will win this game. And then we'll see what happens after that. We'll see who we'll be facing. So it's good to be in the playoffs, guys. I'm extremely excited about that. I'm extremely happy about the 11-5 record. Another very good season as far as wins and losses. And remember, I was a guy that didn't think we were that good. I still don't think the Steelers are that great. I just think we're playing enough football to get wins. So now it's time for us to play the best football that we can play for the remainder of these playoffs. So, all right, guys, that's all I got for you guys. Remember, when you see the screaming face appear here, go ahead and hit that to sub to the channel, guys. Do your boy a favor and do that as well. As I promise, guys, it will never hurt you to hit that like button. All right, guys, until next time, I'll be talking to you again. Here we go, Steelers. Let's get this win in this first week, wild card round of playoffs. All right, guys, that's all I got. Peace.